Hello YouTube friends, thanks so much for coming by. Today I am taking some items that I had in my pantry and freezer and we're going to make a delicious creamy baked pasta. Keep watching to see how we do it. Okay guys, I'm taking what fresh ingredients I have in my fridge and mixing them with some pantry items and some things from my freezer, and we're going to make a delicious, super simple pasta. So we're starting out with some shallots. If you don't have shallots, any type of onion will work. I'm using 2 medium-sized shallots here and 3 cloves of garlic that I've just chopped pretty roughly. I'm going to let those soften up a little bit. I think I forgot to add the other shallot. I will add it in momentarily here once I get things stirred around. Oh, there's that second part of the shallot I was talking about. Just adding that on in here. We're going to let everything soften up and get a little bit brown. I love shallots because they've got a really nice garlicky mild flavor, but if you don't have them on hand, any type of onion will work just fine. Now that they've softened up a little bit, I'm just going to add in 2 of these field roast Italian style sausages. Just had them in the fridge. So I just chopped them up and we're going to let them brown up a little bit before we add our next ingredient. All of these ingredients are actually pretty optional, so whatever you've got on hand is what we're using here. So now that my sausage has browned a little bit, I'm adding a whole package of button mushrooms that are pre-sliced. And we're going to let those cook down for probably about 5 minutes so they get a little bit of a caramelization on them as well. I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on here to help them break down a little bit. Now we're rolling here. Everything is getting nice and browned and mixed together. All those flavors are going together. There's something to, like, I need to invent the smell cam because for real, this is amazing right now. So, pro tip, if you have produce that's about to go bad, throw it in your freezer. These zucchinis were on the verge a few weeks ago, so I cut them up. I actually really love to put them in smoothies. They add bulk without any weird flavors and have so many good vitamins and are incredibly low calorie. So if you're not saving them for soups or marinara sauce, you should save them for smoothies because I promise they're a game changer. Anyway, moving on to our pasta here. I'm just throwing a good handful of these sliced zucchinis. We're going to let them defrost and kind of break down into the sauce for a few minutes. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. Things are really coming together. That zucchini is nice and bright and green and starting to break down a little bit into the rest of the ingredients. And we're going to add our seasoning here. I've already added a little bit of salt, but now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning and of course some roasted red pepper flakes because I don't think I can make a recipe without roasted red pepper flakes. I'm pretty sure. Okay, now that everything's sauteed up here, I think we are ready to add some tomato. So I've just got this roasted garlic classico sauce that's been in my cupboard for quite a while. I'm going to dump that entire bottle in, and then I'm going to swish it with a little bit of water and pour the rest in as well, just to get out all the goodies. And then for a little bit of texture and some more tomatoey flavor, I've just got a single can of chopped Roma tomatoes. I drained it just a little bit, and then I'm gonna just add the rest into the sauce here. We're gonna stir it up, and then I'm going to add a lid and let it simmer on low heat for at least 20 minutes, and we should be good to go. Now, while our pasta sauce is simmering, I'm also going to boil some pasta. I'll show you the type that I use in just a moment. I'm going to boil it until it's al dente. We're gonna let it cook the rest of the way as we bake it. So I'm gonna get that rolling while our sauce is simmering down and getting even more concentrated with flavors here. Okay, while our sauce and our pasta is cooking away, I'm gonna toast up about 4 ounces of pine nuts here. I've got this pan on medium-high heat. I'm gonna keep moving them until I can smell a little bit of toastiness, and that means they're done. They cook really fast. They burn even faster, so be quite careful. I like to buy these guys when they're on sale in bulk because they can be quite expensive. You can totally use walnuts as well if you've got those on hand, but I love pine nuts if I can get them while they're cheap. So I'm taking half of the pine nuts and reserving them for the top of our baked pasta. The other half I'm going to use to make a creamy base to mix up into our pasta. So I will show you how to do that. It's super simple. All we're gonna do is take our first half of pine nuts and we are gonna dump them in a food processor or blender. I don't have a food processor, so I'm just dumping it in my Vitamix here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the saucy part of my spaghetti sauce. That is a technical term. I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna try not to get any veggies or that sausage, just the separated saucy liquidy part that's on top here. I'm just gonna take about a cup of it and we're gonna blitz it up in the blender, and it's gonna make an incredible cream sauce. What I love about doing the cream sauce mixed with this hearty marinara style sauce is it's gonna give us a couple different textures, really good depth of flavor. So it's a step that's worth taking, I promise. Okay, so we're just blending it up like I was saying. If it starts to get to a point where it's hard to blend, just add a little bit more sauce. I ended up adding probably another half cup of the liquidy sauce until we had a really nice and creamy, kind of orangish color cream sauce. So this is the pasta that I decided to use. I had a whole bunch in the, whoa, I'm spilling it everywhere. I had a whole bunch in my pantry. I've got to look up what it's called, but I cook them al dente. I'm trying to show you here. You just want the very middle to still be a little bit raw, and that way the liquidy part of our sauce is going to soak into the pasta, cook it the rest of the way, and make it chock full of flavor, even more so than if you're just going to, toss a sauce with your pasta. So here's that pine nut cream sauce we made with our marinara and toasted pine nuts. Just pouring it in here and doing a mix so we've got a base of creamy deliciousness before we put on the rest of our marinara sauce. Okay, my Italian ancestors are going to be so upset with me because I'm going to try to pronounce this type of pasta and I'm going to butcher it. I think it's called conchigli or something along those lines. I'll type in how to spell it, but it is awesome for holding sauce. It's like a shell mixed with an elbow macaroni, and the texture is amazing, especially for baked pasta. So I'm also just doing a little bit of seasoning on this cream sauce because it's very heavy on the pine nut. I want to give a little bit more flavor. So I've got a bit of garlic powder and of course roasted red pepper flakes just to kind of make sure we're seasoning at every step here. So now I'm just, making a mess and stirring things up, getting cream sauce everywhere. And once we've got it mixed pretty thoroughly, I'm going to just pour the remainder of our marinara sauce on the top of our pasta here, and it's gonna just bake in as we cook it in the oven. Just kind of getting it dispersed everywhere, and we're gonna spread it around so it's even on top. Okay, so we're just, like I said, mixing it around here, and we're just gonna pop it in the oven. You only need about 15 to 20 more minutes to let that pasta soak up the rest of the juices from the marinara and be perfectly cooked. So we're gonna pop it in the oven, and then we're gonna garnish it with the rest of our pine nuts, and we will be good to go. And there's that beautiful pasta. We're just topping it with those delicious crunchy pine nuts. They add another texture, which is awesome. And I'll load it on up here and then we'll be ready to serve. So keep in mind, guys, these ingredients that I'm using are incredibly versatile. Use what you've got on hand. Baked pasta can take all sorts of flavors, all sorts of vegetables. Whatever you've got in your pantry, it'll probably work. So I hope that you guys give this a shot, and I hope that you're staying safe and healthy, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.